Oh, and tonight's wisdom, we have chosen to speak on synchronicity. And we will go a little bit deep to really understand what it is. So synchronicity is an extension of ourself, is when you're connecting with your soul. And you will have some magical moments, as I described. So it can also be like universal time, you're in that state of God time. Um, Another way of saying is like, say, if when the plane is landing, you know how the lights are on either side, and the plane doesn't deviate, it is just bang on and straight, and it lands. And the sun rises as it lands. So it's these kind of magical moments, full alignment. So universal is so intelligent, and it not only aligns, but it lines us up to this systematically with things, people, and it is beyond us to even understand how it does it. But it is those moments we truly live. So, say people who are very rajas, they are so into 9 to 5, jobs, or 24/7, whatever, and they just haven't come to this moment. And life has to be truly lived with this synchronicity. So we must be aware and conscious to identify it, because although it could be happening, but people are not observing. So there must be an eye, there must be a witness to observe this. So what does it really mean? It is a meaningful consciousness, coincidences with full consciousness. And this event on the outside, that speaks of something that is inside. So it is something that is much deeper connection, and helping us, and it's guiding us towards the highest truth. So it is a personal development path. Science will come from the universe, and all we have to do is just keep observing it. So it is a very mysterious moment, yet magical, but it's greater than what we seem to see ordinarily. And it just adds magic and sparkle at that time. And there is no mind play at that time. It kind of also gives a sense of hope, and awakens us to something. There's something more out there than we think. And it has all knowing. It's all knowing. So some see it as an odd moment, but I would say it's quite ignorant to see it as an odd moment. It's really the most beautiful moment. So what happens is it is carefully orchestrated, and expressing itself as human or in any other way for a while. And in that one, there is harmony and great depth of truth. There is no planning. So forget about it. There's no control. It's just flowing in its own magical way. And I would say also that it's a spiritual guidance. So, how do we identify? Many people have seen like synchronicity in numbers, like 111 come up, or 1414, or 777. So we have all observed. One particular moment of mine was when I was trekking along the Ganges, and in the space of 5 to 7 days, the 3 hotels, which I had not booked, I just kind of entered and I said, "Have you got room?" So the first hotel sort of said, "Yes, here's the keys," and it was 113. Then after 2 days, walked into another hotel and they gave me the keys. It was 113 again. And then the third hotel, after 4 days, was key again to 113. now. This really threw me. So till then, I've never really had such magical experience, but it was so divine, and really was taken back. So these moments we really and truly live. Also, there is thinking of someone, and that someone gives you a ring or rings the bell and just shows up. So it is direct synchronicity with the person. Sometimes we run into someone who we don't really know, sort of say like at the airport or at the station somewhere. And out of thousands of people, you bump into them again. This happened to me in Kuala Lumpur. You know, there were so many people on the station platform, and I just asked some guy about the direction early in the morning, and I was heading myself to a quite nice place. And of all the timings, I could not have imagined that 7 o'clock I was going to meet that same person on that platform without even knowing. So this is another running into the same person again, which is synchronicity. So another one is like you are doing something and or going through some phase, and exactly fitting to that moment, the song comes in the background, and you listen to the lyrics of that, and that is just so beyond me when that happens. So there were a group of yogis, and we were just getting into the car, and one of them on the back seat said, "Oh, Nutan, do you know where we're going?" And I said, "Well, I know roughly where I'm going." Just as I started the engine, the radio in the car kind of started singing the song, let me show you where to go. So we were just in hysterics, you know, and I just kind of stopped for a few minutes and I said, we got to listen to this whole song because this is a very divine moment. And we must recognize when this happens, it's not an ordinary moment. It is full rejoice in the spirit. It is so beautiful. And then there is perfect timing, as we call it. So again, you know, my time in India, and someone said to me, when you reach this place, it was Rameshwaram, and they said, when you reach that place, the Aarti happens at about 12 midday, always, you know. And the driver said to me, there's no way you can reach at that time. We've got far too much traffic on the road, and it's still a long way to go. I said, just focus on the road, please, and leave the rest. So I wasn't going to get caught up in the mind. So, of course, I was praying in the backseat so hard. And as soon as we reached, I noticed as the door opened, there were four priests standing there to shower me in the 22 wells. And he said, well, if you have that and then you go for Aarti, it would be the best way to really, you know, be baptized or whatever. So I said, yes, I want it that way, but then you will miss the Aarti. I said, don't worry about that. We will see to it. And it was unbelievable that that day the Aarti didn't start till 20 past. So had just enough time to make it. As I entered, it started. So that is again synchronicity, perfect timing. Then there is, yes, the dream. Some people kind of, whatever they're dreaming, how this is going to be, how that is going to be. And it unveils in the most amazing way. You know, I've heard people say, you know, I've given up on my this and that, and suddenly the love of their life arrives and lands right in front of them, and they can't believe how all that had to happen. It can be like from Australia to America even, and somehow you're brought together. So there is such a beautiful way the energy kind of just circulates, and somehow the magic happens. So never to ignore, you know, synchronicity. We must listen, because more we listen and in tune, more will be in synchronicity. So as our vibrations go higher, we of course meet people, new people, with higher vibration for new, higher purpose as well. And part of a bigger agenda, there is where the soul is stirred, like, you are really coming to this beautiful life. I call it a new life. And it has much spiritual significance, all this. And it is really telling us to stop controlling our lives and stop worrying and stop doing planning, because in the material world everything seems to be so planning. So just go easy and step back and trust that there's force out there which is taking care of us, and we just need to flow with it in the most amazing way, a bit like Alice in the Wonderland, and let the divine do its work. So Albert Einstein said something so beautiful. It's a God's way of remaining anonymous. And in that time, you are just so, I wouldn't say lost, but you are in such wow, like you are perfectly placed at that moment, not even angled this way, nor that way. It is just perfect position to see everything that is to be seen and to be heard. So intuition is at its highest. Mind is not in its circus mode, but it is sitting very quietly and behaving, whereas the heart is blossoming, and it's a glimpse of God at that time, which I call it. It's a reality on earth, and if people have not experienced it, I would say, or divine in me would say that please trust that this is something so beautiful. So also, the Lord says that whilst you're on earth, have you seen the magnificence, how the birds fly in those floats, and as well as the fish, how it's just so many fish, in the ocean, the way they kind of dance and everything, and also the dolphins, how they dance. All this is synchronicity, which is from the intuition. It's from inside. It is not something that they're being taught. It is just happening. So everything happens for a reason, and this is what towards the righteous path. So when we are coming into the righteous path, this is what we experience more and more, the synchronicity. I even notice that many people, who say that, oh, that is just meant to be, it's nothing special. But no, it's definitely special. So how do we feel? Right, when we are synchronized in this righteous path, first is we feel peace rather than anxiety. There's tremendous stillness, there's tremendous peace, like you forget everything. And what do you find? Yes, so purpose behind pain is something so unshaking, and it is just still. Then there is, yes, the coincidences increase, and it is like working in your favor. It is like sometimes, I would be so thirsty when I'm doing the charity work in India, in South India, when I was there. And I would say, oh my God, I'm so thirsty. There's nothing around here. Now what to do? And suddenly you find coconut wala around the corner, out of nowhere, sitting there. And you kind of think, how did that happen? So yes, that is again synchronicity. And then you never see that man for the next 4 or 5 days. Where's he gone? So yes, who put him there was a question. So it's a beautiful unveiling when you trust the divine so much and surrender. So even you meet like-minded people, they come in the most amazing way in your journey, and there's so much learning to do together. So in 2020, uh, there was so much learning through Zoom, and this opportunity would have never come if there was no lockdown. So they put points there as well. Also, I noticed whilst I was preparing today for this subject, um, there was butterfly on the window. Now people will say crazy, Nutan, what's butterfly? No, but in London we are having, like snow just a few days ago. Now, how would butterfly come in this cold weather? I have no idea. And I've not seen any butterflies outside. So why on my windowsill today? So of course it was there and all the windows were closed. So I had to open the vent to let that butterfly out. But there was a reason behind that butterfly, why it was there, because it was just giving me a good message of freedom. So, I would say intuitive knowledge is, when I say I, excuse me, I mean I means the higher I in me, not my ego I. So please excuse if people think that way, but that's the only way I can express it, is that higher I is the intuitive knowledge. And sometimes it it just comes. It's not always studied. It is all inside here. So it's the way the magic soul speaks, and it just needs this body form to listen. And when we listen, we see. So as soon as this paperwork that I sort of worked on and I finished today, and as soon as I finished, I looked at the time and it said 1818. So again, that was another message, which was so fitting to the subject today on synchronicity. So I hope this has brought much depth in your understanding today, and may you rise in your vibration to see more and more synchronicity in life. And this is wealth, I would say, not making money, 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 money. Okay, I know people are caught up in that circus, but the greatest wealth is to align with the universe and see the magic of universe, which is beyond anyone's thinking. It is so intelligent out there. And when we experience this again and again, we are living in that bliss, in that wonder. So hope you enjoyed it tonight, and may your life blossom. So thank you and namaste.